Good morning. Welcome in. I'm Rhonda Holt, the Loan Maven with Thrive Mortgage, and June is National Homeownership Month. Did you know that, Mary?
I did not know that, but it's good to know.
Right. There's a day for everything and a month for everything, it seems that. But we are promoting the benefits of owning a home. The Realtor Association says they strive to ensure that all Americans have the opportunity to achieve home ownership, which is the centerpiece of the American dream and the pathway to economic well-being and intergenerational wealth building. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But in a nutshell, basically, everyone, the Realtor Association, the administration, Biden administration, so forth, and all through the years, they encourage and want folks to own a home. They would like everyone to own a home, but we know that's not possible. But we encourage, and every year it seems like that there are new products that are developing that will encourage, or let's say give the ability for people to buy homes. And it does build wealth. You definitely, we've talked about that before. And I know I was talking to one of our friends lately. He says, I'm going to kill you because you talk about not renting and buying a home, and I'm a landlord, and and I'm not knocking landlords out there, don't get me wrong, but yes, we want to. And if you're a landlord, I encourage, more power to you. You're making money, great. And there are a lot of people that have to rent out there. But if you can own a home, I think wealth-wise, financial-wise, it puts you in a better position for life. You own real estate. Mm-hmm. And I know how hard it was years ago. When I was buying a home, and you, Mary, same way, we've talked about this before, it was not as easy as it is now to buy a home. We had to save money for a down payment. Where are we going to get that down payment from? And nowadays, you can buy a home with no down payment. So you can there are a lot of myths that we'll talk about buying a home, that people still think to this day you can't get a home, but you can. Also, June is designed, National Homeownership Month. It marks the 20th anniversary of the ongoing commitment to helping families and individuals achieve the dream of home ownership. So HUD, which is Department of Housing and Urban Development, including FHA, you've heard us talk about the Federal Housing Administration, continues to focus on its long-standing commitment and central role in providing accessible, affordable, and equitable home ownership opportunities to Americans nationwide. Now, I would say that some of the things that HUD is doing with that is providing these first-time, low and moderate income home buyers opportunities to be able to buy a home. They offer the Office of Housing Counseling. They're launching a Let's Make Home the Goal to connect buyers to become successful homeowners. And the way that works is, when we are talking to clients about getting into a, say, down payment assistance program, if they're a first-time home buyer, then there are counseling agencies that you can actually take the counseling session online. All of them are free. And that is a way to better prepare a first-time home buyer, someone thinking about buying a home. It's a better way to prepare them for what's expected as far as, when you look for a home, getting pre-approved, going out and writing the offer, what are closing costs, all the little things that go into home ownership. It also talks about, it's not just about buying a home, but you're going to have an electric bill, you're going to have a phone bill, and all those little things. So it is a great way, a great tool, that free home buyer class, to be able to go out there and get an understanding of what it's like. We do require this on most of our down payment assistance program, and I'd say that's not a Thrive requirement, but it is a requirement of those programs. We want to talk about housing market and where it is, because we want you to own a home, but reality is, where is the housing market right now? And according to, I'm going to break it down in the Lynchburg city area and surrounding counties, but it is still a seller's market. So what does that mean? What is a seller's market? Well, a seller's market, and it's been like this since last year, seller's market, and sometime before that, it was a seller's market. Even through COVID, it was, pretty much a seller's market. But I would say that with the seller's market, you can't go in necessarily and buy a house. Let's say the house is $200,000, pretty good shape, nothing majorly wrong with it. You can't really go buy that house and say, well, I'm just going to offer them $160,000. Well, guess what? You're not going to get the house. And it's just that's buyers and sellers market. It's the seller's market. Mm-hmm. So they have the upper edge, meaning houses are being sold for what they're listed for, and it's whatever the demand is. And right now the demand is so high, and there are a lot of people looking. So I give specific suggestions out there to my home buyers, and I have a lot of folks that are pre-approved, and we do pre-approve folks, I would say at least 3 to 4 a day, and all through the week. Mm-hmm. Not all of them find a house right away. Not all of them are fully pre-approved right away, but we do work with them to get them there. But I do give them instructions on, number one, they do definitely have to have a great realtor. And I'm not saying there are not a lot of great realtors out there. There are a bunch of wonderful realtors that I partner with out there. But you have to have one that's very aggressive, one that knows the market, one that's going to write an offer, maybe be creative in the offer that they make to the seller. They're going to know the comparables. They've got to know that the fact that if this house is selling for $200,000, they've got to know how it compares to other homes. Even if they are a really good realtor and know the market, are they going to always win the bid? No. That just happens. We had it last night, an awesome realtor that I work with, and she wrote an offer, a pretty aggressive offer, and she just was bid out by other offers, and you just don't know. You can try your hardest, but
you don't know what the other offers are.
I wish you did. I mean, that should be the thing, but no, gosh, if it was, or if I had that crystal ball,
right.
Think about, kind of mind read.
Yeah.
But I would say that the biggest thing too, I work with a lot of realtors, and there are people that unfortunately that I work with that I work with 3 or 4 people that might be writing an offer on the same home. Mm-hmm. That happens. And of course, legally, I cannot say anything on, oh wait, you need to offer it. I always suggest offer your highest and best bid. Whatever your highest bid that you feel like you can offer it. That's what I say.
Don't wait for any kind of negotiation. Just whatever you can possibly give. What up to your limit, whatever you can possibly give it your highest and best.
Now, some of the other statistics that we looked at, and we're talking about the Lynchburg housing market and being competitive on, writing offers for houses. The median housing price that houses are being sold for in this area is around $235,000. That it seems to go up each year, but it's around $235,000. That seems to be the median price range. And of course, more bedrooms, the price goes up. If you were looking at a bigger house, like 4 or 5 bedrooms, you could be on up to, 300 and 400, over 400,000 for some of those. The more bedrooms you need. But each year over year, I've seen, it seems like the sales price has increased. Also, the sold price in nearby cities, how Lynchburg compares to, say, Lynchburg City compares to Madison Heights. Lynchburg has probably, the sold price has probably increased more than some of the counties. Just things are selling for more in the cities. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Than the counties. And the city has come down on their taxes. They're proposing all the lowering of the taxes, which is going to help getting more people into the city as well. Also, I do know that from April to May, the number of homes for sale has increased. April, there were 208 houses for sale. In May, 366.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
Jump. Mm-hmm.
So that's 76%. So there are more houses coming on the market. More houses are being built on the market. And I think that if you look at all of that, there are going to be more opportunities for people to buy. And now is the right time to buy. And I keep reiterating that each year. That right now compared to next year, when rates may go down, we don't know, but I think you're going to have a better edge. So also the actual houses, the number of houses sold compared from April to May increased by 42%. So we do see more houses going on the market. We do see more houses being sold. So and this is a cool fact that I investigated. So 38 homes in this statistic of the number of homes sold, 38 were sold under asking price.
Of how many?
128.
So not even a quarter, or about a quarter.
Yeah. 33 were sold at asking.
Okay.
And 57 were sold above. So remember, it's a seller's market. You can't lowball that offer.
Right.
And if you need closing costs, because there's so many people out there that need closing, then we've got to be really good at what we offer. We would like for everyone to own a home. We would, that is our goal. We want to help anyone, and I will say that anyone that I've helped in the past, I thoroughly enjoy what I do. Can everyone buy a home? No, unfortunately they can't, but for various reasons. But I usually work with clients to help them build their credit, give them suggestions on ways that what they can do specifically to get to the point where they can buy. But I will tell you, you have to take my advice. And if you don't take my advice and don't do what I tell you to do or suggest that you do, then you may not be able to buy. You have to be diligent. I had a conversation with some clients yesterday, and I do have this conversation right often around spending. And the question that I ask very frequently is, what can I do to be able to save money? I feel like, so the biggest thing is, if let's say you're living with parents, not paying any rent, or maybe, let's use that situation, and you're working and you make pretty decent money, kind of look at what your spending is. Look at your checking account. I always say keep a log. If you have to keep a little notepad or put it in your phone in notes, every time you spend something, write it in your notes. Like if you buy a $5 drink or a Starbucks drink, write it in your notes how much you spent for that day. You'd be surprised at how much it adds up in one day. And if you looked at it as a whole, you'll realize that, oh my gosh, I'm spending a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Especially on frivolous stuff like a snack here and a snack there, or lunches. Pack your lunches, find ways to save money to be able to keep money in your bank account for a down payment or for closing costs, or just to have money for reserves, because you're going to need things for a new home. So I always suggest in doing things like that and giving you full suggestions around what you can do to be able to buy a home. We want you to own a home. Now, we're talking about the Lynchburg area and focusing on what the odds are, or what the statistics are around home ownership. We just, before break, talked about that houses are selling. 50 out of 128 homes in May, 57 homes were sold above asking. Now, that might be $1,000 above asking, $500 above asking. It could be $10,000 above asking, right, or $50,000. We don't know. We really don't know. But they did sell above asking. It is a seller's market. So if you are looking to be able to buy a home, and let's say I've talked to you, which is your first step, got you pre-approved, figured at maybe you don't have money for down payment, and maybe you do have money for closing costs, or vice versa. Maybe you need the seller to pay the closing costs because you don't have a relative that can gift you money or whatever. Then obviously you would want to offer more typically than list price and get the seller to pay the closing cost. So for example, if a house is $250,000 and you need $10,000 in closing costs, then you probably want to offer $260,000, and they would net what they want at least. But I would always use the advice of your realtor partner to help you in making that decision, but always offer your highest and best. The other thing that we looked at, of course, is the fact that, you know, how long is it taking to sell a home in the Lynchburg, Virginia area market. In May of last year, it took only about, on average, 7 days. This year, May, it takes about a little bit longer, only 13 days, but that's the average time it is on the market. So it's on the market a little bit longer. And in the numbers that I looked at, the breakdown of that was out of all the homes that were sold, 111 homes were sold under 30 days, and only 3 homes were sold over 90 days. So the ones that are not sold, you know, pretty quick are probably going to be typically in a higher price bracket, or there's something wrong with the house. There are issues, you know, whether it be, you know, construction issues, something wrong with the house, they can't get financing on it, it's a cash deal only, whatever it may be. So that is what it kind of looks like. But I would say that we want to get you in a position, if you do not own a home, is to get in the position of being able to buy. And, you know, it comes from either saving, watching what you're spending, saving money for the down payment, perhaps 3%, 3.5%, or you don't need a down payment. We can do a down payment assistance program. We have programs for teachers. We have programs for doctors. We have wonderful programs for veterans out there, and veteran spouses, surviving spouses. So, and you do not need money down to do that. So you can buy. We even have a program out there that a lot of lenders do not offer. Even if you, let's say you had a home, you sold it a year ago, you're not a first-time home buyer, maybe you need to sell your house and buy another one, we have a program still with no money down, even if you've owned a home in the last 3 years. So we want to give people the opportunity to be able to do all of this, to be able to build wealth, but there are some things that you have to do in order to make that happen, such as work on your credit, work on your savings, kind of manage on how you're spending and how you're managing your bills. You know, I always suggest too, and when we talk about our credit segment, I always suggest too that if you have bills that you're paying monthly, just make sure that you are setting them up for an automatic draft perhaps, so you do not forget to pay them. But all those little things add up. And with the cost of the rent, and we've talked about how much rent costs right now, just a studio rent on average right now is like $750 for one like studio. And what is a studio like? And I'm thinking to myself, that's like the bedrooms in the living room area.
Yeah, it's kind of like one room,
room
all together.
Yeah, for $750. So, you know, and I was looking at just some numbers this morning, thinking about kind of looking at prices of houses and how much a monthly payment would cost. Like a 3-bedroom on rent is running anywhere from $1,200 to $1,400. We were looking at one scenario this morning for a client, and she was interested in buying a home. I think it was like $170,000 in the county. And with her scenario with taxes and insurance, and of course everyone does vary, every situation varies, but her payment was only going to be like $1,300. So you figure, and that was almost 3-bedroom house. It's like a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath, make it in third bath. So there are opportunities.
We have a friend who bought his house when he was 22.
Oh.
So he bought a house. Everybody else is, getting apartments for a while, and he went ahead and got a house, and it was just a very modest house, and but he was paying on it, and so by the time he was married and then he had started a family, they had little children, then he had about 8 or 10 years of equity built in this house,
right.
And he moved into this big gorgeous house, and the rest of us in our friend group are all just buying our very first starter house,
right?
And this guy's moving into like a little mansion, and
so he did it,
and he's like, that's what happens when you buy a house at 22,
right?
Yep.
Right. Well, the thing about it, I have very talented, very there are a lot of loans you can do out there. One great thing that I've seen, these houses may be hard to find, but you could actually, for example, if you were thinking about an FHA loan, you could get a duplex on an FHA loan. You could live in one of the sides of the duplex and rent the other side out. So there you go.
And be very careful who you rent to. But
right,
yes,
be very careful.
It's great using it as an investment.
Yeah, use it as an investment. I had a veteran recently that bought a fourplex, and they got a good deal on the fourplex. They lived in one of the units, 4 units. They lived in one of the units, and the other units, the whole thing happened to be already rented.
Wow.
So there you go.
Right.
Rental income, it pays for the mortgage. Now, are those places easy to find? No, they're not. But, you have to be patient. You have to, kind of watch the market, make sure you have a great realtor that you're working with to kind of know exactly what you're looking for. And when one comes up, you've got to be already pre-approved. You already have to be ready to go. And that's the key. I want to reiterate, I do still have clients from time to time that, say in their mind that they want to buy a house. They want to own their first home, whatever it may be. And the thing about it is, I would say that if that is the case, then you've got to be pre-approved first. You've got to be ready to go. You don't want to find the house that you want to write an offer on and say, oh gosh, I haven't been pre-approved. Then what do? Then you have to call somebody. We can get you pre-approved fast, but if we have other clients ahead of you, it might take us a couple more hours, few more hours, 24 hours, whatever. But we want to get you pre-approved ahead of time if you want to buy a house. The new house on the block just came back on the market, and I'm really excited about this. It came up a couple hours ago. Crystal Hicks is offering this, and she works for Next Home 245. The home is located at 197 Woodhaven Drive in Lynchburg, 24502. It is listed for $309,900. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath with 2,200 square feet, and on a little over of a half an acre lot. Again, Crystal can be reached at 434-851-0004. And again, it's listed by Crystal Hicks at 197 Woodhaven Drive here in Lynchburg. So that would be a great first-time home for people, or a second home for people. So check it out, go online. And I want to say thank you guys for tuning in today. And we've been talking about June being National Homeownership Month. And I want to say that you can reach me directly if you want to be pre-approved to purchase or buy investment homes or second homes. I can be reached at 434-221-6361. You can also visit my website at theloanmaven.com. If you miss an episode that we have every Saturday, you could always go to the YouTube channel. It's called The Loan Maven, and check out our previous episodes of the show. And we always, like I said, have guests and new shows every weekend. And we entertain questions, so please give us a call, and if we can help you with anything you're thinking about as far as buying a home or investing, we'd love to talk with you. And I want you to have a great week, and see you again next time.